Hey there, friends. It has been a long and very hot week, and I have been out in the mountains hunting for huckleberries, and I haven't been to the garden in a minute, so let's go through and see how she fared without me. The sunflowers are still so beautiful, but they are kind of taken over, and I'm gonna have to come through and thin them out quite a bit. The okra is kind of starting to pop up. Starting to get some true leaves, and we have some soybeans planted in through here. The onions are doing well, and we're starting to see some blossoms on this watermelon, which is exciting. There are a lot of things in the garden right now that I planted in early spring that are really needing to come out. The plan for the week is to pull out all of the things that I planted in the early spring that are now going to seed and work on saving those seeds. And that will bring room for everything else to grow better, and also to start a few more short season things and prepare some space for things I'll plant for the fall. So I'll go through and I'll show you all the things that are coming out this week, just so you can kind of see the difference that a week makes. This parsley has been working on seeds for a while, and it's just, I guess maybe it takes a little bit more time than I was expecting. The noodle beans that we have going underneath here are starting to reach the trellis, which means that they're pretty ready to start taking off. Rude slugs. Ooh, look at this. It has been a week full of 100+ days, so we don't have a whole lot of blossoms being retained, but look at this eggplant flower. Give that a little. I'm not expecting any of those to set fruit. Peppers over here look like they need a drink, but we're starting to get blossoms, which is exciting. And then we've got the onions along the edge doing really well. I have this volunteer tomato, which I'm just gonna let grow because I'm curious. Chamomile is quite the task every morning. Lovely. We have a couple fruit set on these peppers here, waiting for those to start ripening up. Oh, this dahlia is gonna open soon. Oh, oops. So this middle bed is glorious. I found out that the community garden members have been calling this the fairy garden. And I'm very honored. The bees are loving the sunflowers, and I come out and I pick a bouquet every day. These radishes here are something that are coming out this week. See, we've got pretty large seed pods, and I'll go through and peel those all off and let them dry. This squash is gigantic and thriving, and the corn got a little toasty while I was gone this weekend, so we're giving it a water, but it's surviving. We have some more radishes in through here that are coming out this week, and that'll make more room for these squash. This bed here, we've got noodle beans and a butterfly pea that are starting to reach the trellis, and they'll start climbing as well. Oh, and this mystery thing right here is chamomile, which I should have known. We have this gigantic sunflower. Let me give you the scope of this thing. For reference, I'm 6 foot tall. So that's exciting. It's kind of a jungle in this bed, but let's get an update on these radishes. So we've got pods forming which need to come out this week, but look at this. Look at this radish. This is a French breakfast radish. That is hefty. In the jungle here, let's see, there's a sad little cabbage and some celery, which is going to seed. I did not realize those were in here. Look at how thick this is. Like, I can't wait for that to bloom. More sunflowers around this way. And I've got this one sunflower that grew up in the walkway that I just didn't have the heart to get rid of. We are having an issue with blister beetles. Ugh. They're so gross. And my strategy so far has been hand picking. Yay. We have a couple of the sunflowers here that have this orange ombre. I'm gonna save some seeds from those and hopefully plant more next year because I think they're so pretty. Here's more radish that needs to be taken out. And all the sunflowers. Oh. All right, the brassica bed is one that's getting a hard reset this week. The kale is still hanging on, as you can see, but it's starting to get pretty bitter. It would be fine if I had a juicer. I could maybe use it for that, but I don't. So we're just gonna let it do its thing. The kohlrabi are all starting to set flowers. And rude! Excuse me, sir. You don't belong here. That's my cabbage. I grew that. Oh, he's got friends. Well, hand-picking bugs. That's the name of the game this year. Ooh, that's a big one. And this is why I walk around the garden with a glove on, so I can pick bugs fearlessly. Okay, nope, I'm not here to weed. Oh, look at that guy. Rude. I think I could harvest this cabbage. Should I? It feels really nice. Decisions. Do I leave it and let it go to seed? I think I have enough cabbage seeds. I'm gonna pick that. We have another really tall wild sunflower that I had to kind of chop off because it was getting whacked in the face by the sprinkler. And then this is Swiss chard going to seed. I've never saved seeds from Swiss chard, so I'm unsure when they are ripe, but these don't look ready. So I think that one's gonna stay. And we have another one bolting right behind it. We have some peppers in amongst the weeds. And then we have the Napa cabbages, which have all fallen over. I'm gonna come through and cut these all out and start saving the pods so I can dry them and save seeds. Ugh, freaking mosquitoes. You get the sun or you get the bugs. Ugh, gross. We've got onions doing their thing over here. Some carrot flowers. Yeah. More kale. And I was right about this being some sort of carrot. I just don't know what type. But it's pretty and the pollinators like it. This is my singular Filderkraut cabbage. Ugh, more slugs. And I'm gonna let this one go to seed, even though I want to harvest it but he's just little. So yeah, this mess will be cleared out and mulched over by next time you see it. You have some holy basil growing in here that I kind of willy-nilly planted, and a lot of weeds, and some summer dream cosmos, which are kind of white with pink centers. We have a row of watermelon down through here that are starting to get going, and it's surrounded by all of these beans. They're setting some flowers. It might be too hot for them right now. I'm not really sure. I'm not very versed with growing green beans. This needs a little bit of mulching and weeding, but it survived well through the heat wave. Some sunflowers growing up. And then on this side, there's more tulsi and a couple of purple zinnias that I planted kind of last minute because I just wanted something pretty to grow. Look at this bean. Pretty little bean flower. So this bed is tomatoes and a few squash, and I was feeling a little, I don't know, limited. Because what you see in gardens, organic gardening, is you mulch with straw. The straw makes it look so orderly. And I do like the look of an orderly garden. And I had this idea that like I had to wait till I could afford straw in order to mulch these beds. And I was just drowning in morning glory. And it was really frustrating. And I kind of got to the point where I was like, what am I doing? Why am I waiting to mulch with something that is, quote, ideal? It's the norm. When I am pulling up so much that I could lay down on top and mulch with. I don't know why it didn't click sooner. That, of course, when you're pulling up gallons and gallons of weeds, you can use that for mulch. So I have been just pulling up weeds. I move aside the mulch. I pull up whatever's growing, which isn't much anymore. And then I cover with what I've mulched with. And you can see this has been here for maybe 2 weeks. On this side, you can see very little growth. Whereas this side of the bed is just covered. And it's choking out these tiny squash. So, is it ideal? No. Is it orderly? No. Is it working? Absolutely. And the biggest thing, is it free? Yes. So I'm just going through and I am tying up my tomatoes with these little twisty ties. They're reusable. I like them. When I run out of them, I'll use cotton twine. You don't gotta have fancy stuff in order to garden. My trellising in this bed of salvaged tomatoes is not anything resembling ideal. This is a bamboo stick, and I've tried to twine and tie up these tomatoes, but look at how this one keeps on laying over, and so it's a little bit windy. It's trying to set blossoms, which is better than nothing. So from where I'm sitting, this back row of potatoes, or this back row of weeds, is just doing its thing. I'm waiting for the potatoes to ripen before I can dig everything out and mulch really well. I'm doing the same chop and drop mulching on this bed just to keep the weeds down for now. that I'm doing in the other bed. Hopefully by next year this corner of the garden is finished. We have beans starting to grow up this back trellis and cucumbers. We have a couple of summer squash planted by seed, and those will start producing soon. Cucumbers are starting to grab. These right here are Mexican sour gherkins. That's why they look so spindly. These cucumbers are starting to put on flowers, which means that, oh, look, we have our first little female flower that I've seen, which means that we might have cucumbers soon. Yay! Oh, that's so exciting. I've never grown a cucumber. There are a lot of things I've never grown. This year's gonna be a lot of firsts. It's really pretty, these burgundy leaves. I'm pretty sure that amaranth leaves are edible, but I wouldn't know what to do with them. I just grew it because it was pretty. And cucumbers. The back of the tomato row has, oh, look, a bean. That's the first bean. It's not quite ready to pick yet, but that means we'll start having green beans soon. And I don't know how this amaranth got here, because I definitely didn't plant it, but there she is. We got onions doing their thing. More beans and weeds. Planted some basil from seed just to fill in some space for less weeds, hopefully. The pansies are struggling in the heat just a bit. Another sunflower shot just because I love them. So the tomatoes are looking a little sad. They didn't get watered as well as I had hoped while I was gone, and it was over 100 degrees every day. But they're about 4 feet tall. The marigolds are growing really well. We have some fruit set on just about every plant, and I've got these little baggies here so I can save some seeds. You can see that with the heat, these leaves are starting to curl a bit. That's not the worst thing in the world. It's just a defense mechanism for the tomatoes. It's the way that they conserve water. You can see this one back here. I need to check what variety this is. It has tons of fruit on it. I think this might be aroma. I'm not sure. But I'm not seeing any, knock on wood, I'm not seeing any blossom end rot. We have our cherry tomatoes on this side. No blushing yet. This is a variety called pear drops that I didn't realize was a determinate, but it's quite short, maybe a foot tall so far. But look at these fun fruit, and they ripen to yellow. These are the painted lady beans, and they have these beautiful flowers. They have really cool looking bean pods, and they're a pole variety. Haven't seen any beans on them yet, but lots of flowers. This bed back here kind of suffered. It looks like it didn't quite get watered, but a lot of the stuff in here was going to seed anyway, so not too upset. The pansy kind of died back completely, but I'm sure if we cut it off it'll get a second wind. I need to come through and clear out some sunflowers, but look, we have our first zucchini growing. I'm very excited about that. Soon we'll be swimming in it. We have more tomatoes on the back, which are doing fine. Got some fruit set. Not seeing any blossom end rot. Pretty happy. A little carrot. This here is a flower called Nicotiana, and it's so pretty and it smells so good. Pulled out all the garlic. I'm waiting for all of this lettuce to go to seed. Waiting for these onion flowers to be ready, which will be soon. I'll come in this week and pull all of that out. On this back arch trellis, we have Kiku chrysanthemum melons growing, which are just tall enough to start reaching the trellis. They kind of seem to need a little bit of redirecting. So I'm just gonna show them where to go. These do produce tendrils, so they should be able to hold on once they get up there. I think they maybe just need to be shown where to go. Oh, need to come through and weed, obviously. But these are looking pretty good. We have a squash of some sort on the back of this trellis. Some more squash and beans. And another bed that needs to be weeded. We have acorn squash and butternut squash in this bed. As well as this guy that's growing up here is a rampicante squash, which grow really, really long. We have some loofah gourds back in the corner, which are still kind of struggling to take off. I planted another variety of amaranth. This is coral something. It has these coral flowers that are kind of droopy. I like them. The middle bed has so many sunflowers in it. We've got the other side of radishes that need to come out right through here. And the corn is looking pretty good. It kind of struggled a little bit while I was gone. It was very hot and it stayed pretty dry. But it's starting to get tall enough. It might start tasseling soon. Look at this. This sunflower right here is a fused blossom. It should have been two separate flowers, but it is coming off of one stem. Little twins. So that's the garden. It's gonna need a lot of work this week, but we are gonna get some lower temperatures, so I'll definitely have the time and the energy to get out here and get everything squared away. I hope you're enjoying watching this garden grow as much as I am, and thanks for watching. Stay curious.